Given the following data, find the correlation coefficient by hand. So let me bring up my tablet. And got my x and y values. The x are 1 through 4. And the y values are 7, 12, 15, and 16. Now for our formula. We need to find x bar and y bar, and also s sub x and s sub y. So let's do that. So first off, we'll look at the x values. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Now for our mean, we're going to add those together. So that's 7, 9, 10. And x bar, we're going to take that total divided by how many of them we have. We have four numbers. And what is that, 2.5? Let's see, 10 fourths. 10 divided by 4, 2.5. Not very good with decimals. Now to find our standard deviation, we have to find this column, x minus x bar. So I'm going to take 1 minus 2.5. I'll take 2 minus 2.5. I'll take 3 minus 2.5. And I'll take 4 minus 2.5. So that's going to give us negative 1.5. This is going to give us negative 0.5. This one will give us 0.5. And this one's going to give us 1.5. Now we also need x minus x bar squared. So we're going to have negative 1.5 squared. We'll have negative 0.5 squared. We'll have 0.5 squared. And we'll have 1.5 squared. So we got 1.5 squared and 0.5 squared. So that gives us 2.25, and this gives us 0.5. Remember, when you square anything, it becomes positive. 0.5. Try it again. 0.25. And this one will be 0.25, and this one will be 2.25. Now we want to add these together. And I think it's 5. Well, let's see for sure. 2.25 plus 0.5 plus, why do I keep saying 0.5? It's not a good omen of things to come. 5. Okay. So then we're ready to find s. Now this is specifically s sub x. So we're going to have the square root of the sum of x minus x bar squared divided by n minus 1. So we're going to have the sum, which was 5, divided by n minus 1. Well, we got 4 numbers, so that's 4 minus 1. So s sub x is equal to square root of 5 over 3. So square root of 5, oops, let's try it again. Square root of 5 divided by 3. And we get 1.29. .099 4449. But I'm going to do this a little bit different here. I'm going to store that off. I'm going to store that off in my variable called x. So I press my STO button, and I'll locate where X is at. I can also use the X key right here, but I specifically want to do the alpha just to show you. So that's alpha store, and then press enter. Okay, so that's where my standard deviations will be stored. So I don't type all those decimals in each time. Well, then we need to look at our Y values. So our Y values, we got 7, 12, 15, and 16. We need to find the mean of those, so we're going to add those together. 9, 14, 20, 50. 31, 41, 43, 50. Yeah, I guess so. So then Y bar is going to equal to 50 divided by our total count. We got four numbers. So 50 divided by 4 gives us 12.5. Now we'll need a Y minus Y bar column. So I'll take 7 minus 12.5. I'll take 12 minus 12.5, 15 minus 12.5, and 16 minus 12.5. 7 minus 12.5 is negative 5.5. 12 minus 12.5 is negative 0.5. 15 minus 12.5 is 2.5. 16 minus 12.5 is 3.5. Then we're going to square that column. That'll give us our Y minus Y bar. So we have negative 5.5 squared. We have negative 0.5 squared. That one I think I know. That's 0.25 from up above. I have 2.5 squared, which I think is 6.25. I'll double check that. And we'll have 3.5 squared. Let's see. 5.5 squared, 30.25. 0.5 squared, 0.25, 2.5 squared, 6.25, 3.5 squared, 12.25. And those all add up to 1. So then I got what do I got? 18, 48, 49. And that's our sum of Y minus Y bar squared. So then S sub Y is going to equal to the square root of the sum of Y minus Y bar squared divided by N minus 1. So you have S sub Y is equal to 49 divided by 4.1. S sub Y is equal to 49 divided by 3 inside of a square root. So then, square root 49 divided by 3 4.04145145 1884. Okay, now I'm going to store that off. I stored this other one. Remember this value up here I stored in my variable called X. I'm going to store this one in my variable called Y. So I'm going to do a store button. And I'm looking for my Y, which is above 1. So I do alpha 1. And then press enter. Okay. Now we're ready for our formula. So it looks like I need X minus X bar S sub X and Y minus Y bar S sub Y. Okay, so my x values are 1, 2, 3, 4. And my y values are 7, 12, 15, 16. Okay, so I'm going to need x minus x bar divided by s sub x, not squared, times y minus y bar over s sub y. So we got, what do we got here? 1 minus, what's x bar? X bar was 2.5. So that's 2.5 divided by s sub x. Now remember where we stored that at? We stored that in x. And then I got y, which is 7. That's from here. Minus y bar, which we said was 12.5. Divided by, and we stored that in y. Now this one will be 2 minus 2.5 divided by x. And this one will be 12 minus 12.5 divided by y. This one will be 3 minus 2.5 divided by x. And this one will be 15 minus 12.5 divided by y. And this one will be 4 minus 2.5 divided by x. And this one will be 16 minus 12.5 divided by y. Okay, so on our calculator, I'm going to have a beginning parentheses. Now I'm going to do another beginning parentheses for the top of the fraction. That's 1 minus 2.5. It's 1 minus 2.5. Closing parentheses for the top of that first fraction. Divide by x. So divided by alpha store. Closing parentheses. And then beginning parentheses. And then beginning parentheses for the top of this, 7 minus 12.5. 7 minus 12.5. Closing parentheses for the top part, divided by y, which was alpha 1. And then closing parentheses, and then press enter. We got 1.58, 121, 9498. Now, just because I'm lazy, I'm going to store that off somewhere. So I'm going to press my store button, and where do I want to put it? Let me put an A. Let's exit out of that. Store alpha math. There we go. I'm storing that in A. Well, I'm going to do a second mode. That brings up previous entry. And I'll do second mode again, or second enter. That brings up this. And now I'll come up here and I'll simply change the 1 to my next number, which is a 2. And I'll come over here and I'll change the 7 to the next number. The next number is a 12. So I'll do a 1 and then I have to do insert mode. So do second delete and 12. And then press enter. Saves you a lot of work if you do that. 0.04 791 574 24. I'm going to store that in B. So I press my store button and I do alpha and then apps for the B and press enter. Now I'll do a second enter to bring up previous entry, and then I'll do second enter again to bring up the one before that. Now I'll use my arrow keys to go over and change my numbers. This one was 3. And my next one is 15. And then I press enter. Then we get 0.23957,957,87,119. And I got my last one to do, this one right here. So I'll do a second enter, bring up previous entry. Oh, I didn't store that, did I? I better store that. I'll press my store button, and then I'll do alpha C. Okay, now I do my last entry. Second mode, okay. And then go change these numbers. Last one I believe is a 4. Yeah, 4. And then I'll go change to 15. To 16. And press enter. And then we get 1.006230,23059. Now I'm going to store that in D, so I'll press my store button, and then I'll do alpha, and then where's D? Above the X and -1, and press enter. Okay, now our formula says that we're going to now, there's a sigma in front of that, so we're going to add those together. I won't write it all out, but we're going to add those together. Now I've stored those respectively in A, B, C, and D. So I simply just have to add those up in my calculator. So I'll do alpha A plus alpha B plus alpha C plus alpha D, and press enter. And we get 2.8749444542. Now I'm going to store that off in E. So I press my store button, and then I'll do alpha E wherever that's at, above the sign, and then press enter. Okay, so now back to our formula. That says we're then going to divide by n minus 1. So R is going to equal to 2.8749448749444542 divided by n minus 1. N refers to number of pairs you have. There's 4 of them total, so this will be 4 minus 1. So that's going to equal to what we stored in E divided by 3. Okay, so I'm going to come over my calculator. I'll do alpha E divided by 3. And we get 0.95, and I'll take it to 4 decimal places, 9583. Okay, here is the big question. We're going to do it on the calculator, and let's see if we come up with that same answer. I'll press Stat, do an edit, clear out my list, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and I got 7, 12, 15, 16. Exit out, second mode, I press my Stat button, right arrow to Calc, choose number 4, and then press enter. And we get R is equal to 0.9583. And glory be. I didn't want to have to work the problem again. Those are nasty. But that would be our answer. This was an easy one. I only had 4 sets of points here. Imagine how this would be if you had 20 sets of points.